Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sri Iyer. Today I have with me Sri RVS Mani and we're going to talk about a very important thing. Fake currency production check. So that comes into India. Somebody needs to be here to enable it, to go and salt it away without anybody noticing. Somebody needs to give it to the people where it has to have the intended effect. All these things have never been discussed before in any programs. Today we're going to unravel a lot of new stuff that has never been talked before. To know all about this, let's welcome our guest, Sri RVS Mani. Maniji, namaskar and welcome to PGurus channel.
Namaskar. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm grateful to the channel to come out and give me the opportunity. Thanks.
Sir, one question that I have read about this, but not much has been talked about. There is a State Bank of India branch at Domariyaganj. And evidently, this place used to have a lot of fake currency go through it. Talk to us a little bit about how once fake currency lands up in India, how does it get distributed outside the view of intelligence agencies, order agencies like the police? How does this happen, Maniji?
See, basically, State Bank of India, Domariyaganj, you started the point. Domariyaganj is a border place very close to the Indo-Nepal border. It was leaking fake currencies in 2008, September. Mark the date, September. September 2008, there's a huge flow of fake currencies into India, which was caught. It was whatever investigations happened, etc., is very great. But how did it land there? Because coming from, we all knew that in Pakistani Pakistani embassy in Nepal used to send it through a lot of diplomatic baggage, and from there it was coming into India. The Nepal State Bank, the Himalayan banks, and others were also enabling institution for this. It was all quite well in the agenda of the intelligence agencies. More importantly, since you raised the issue of Domariyaganj happened 2.5 months before the Mumbai attack, and there was adequate chance that Mumbai attack, fake currencies per se were used a lot in funding terror, and Mumbai attack also there were many places where the Indian currency surely would have been used by the terrorists who landed into India and who have swam across. So somebody was there handing over these currencies, and that aspect of it, not much of it has not been discussed. That is one part of the story. Even in the investigation report, I would urge if you can speak to Mr. Rakesh Maria, who was the Joint Commissioner in charge of information, who had also written a book about it, about this particular aspect of the investigation. What I know as an input are all classified, and I would not like to put it on public domain. So I reserve my comments on that. This is one story about it. The question is, how did the State Bank, especially the State Bank, which is supposed to be a robust bank, a bank which the government as a trust as an institution, how did the State Bank get involved in it? How it was a branch which was leaking fake currency in whatever Lucknow region or Lucknow local head office or whatever zone. I do not know that institutional structure of State Bank. But is the leader not? Is the leader of State Bank not accountable for this? What is the leadership for? We could be all having banking clerks if the leaders are not held accountable for such mishaps. And who was the leader? 2008 to 2011, we know 2006 or 2007 to 2011, we all know who the leader was. And his loyalties have now come out when in the context of Hindenburg report, he is supposed to be a member of the SIT also. I am giving you that much hint. I am not taking any names. So is it just a matter of crime, or it is something larger, a deep state operating like this, which is trying to inert the development jargon, kill the economy and all that? And if there are presence of such people are there, how are they brazenly continuing free? This is a very, very important point. State Bank of India Domariyaganj case, I have written it about in my book also. I have written it another book which is a fiction about this State Bank of India Domariyaganj, which is called Deception. It is available more in US than in India. And having said that, now we come to the next point. It was a terror funding case. How many cases of fake currency, section 489 subsections, etc., have conviction happened? In one
Zero?
case in which,
Yeah.
no, in one case I was a witness. I was the person who cleared the prosecution sanction for that case of NIA. The gentleman's name is 𝗣𝙧𝙤𝙬𝘀𝘀 Ghosh. He was when I had deposed as a Union of India witness before the honorable judge, a huge battery of lawyers. I'm not saying one or two. They came out, confronted me, cross-examined me in several, all possible ways, led by a gentleman, a very prominent gentleman who represents most of these people, number one. It was in a court in Mumbai. And NIA council, then it was in September 2012, that, in September 2013, September 2013, that I was cross-examined. I gave the witness. I did not flinch. I stuck to my stand, and ultimately I learned that the 𝗣𝙧𝙤𝙬𝘀𝘀 Ghosh was there. A couple of more cases of NIA, I have cleared the prosecution sanctions. I do not know the fate of them. I have not been called in. So what is the stage of trial? We do not know. But indeed, this government in 2006 made a very watershed decision of demonetization, which had an immediate impact that the owner of the printing press, we have discussed it on quite a few occasions. Javed Khanini's death under suspicious circumstances in Karachi, and also his twin brother Altaf Khanini facing sentences, getting convicted and all that on same charges in a different country. So, to that extent, we have done it. But what about the people who have been involved in trafficking the fake currencies? Do they not be shown sent to the place where they really belong to? That is behind the bars. The convictions have to happen. If the convictions do not happen, whether due to lengthy procedure of trials or whatever may be, or laxity on the part of the investigation institution, because before NIA came into force, there were hardly much cases being even registered. Let me put it, fake currency had been plaguing and had been involved to fund, please.
No, go ahead, sir. Continue.
Has been used to fund terror much before 2008. But for the first, and the Government of India, Ministry of Home Affairs was aware of this problem. But it was on 23rd January 2008, the then Home Secretary took the initiative, wanted to hold it by the neck, and followed up with a lot of chief secretaries in the different states. Due to the fact that police were reluctant to even register cases of fake currency. The banks would not accept that their bank has issued a fake currency note. There were many such impediments, and it was 23rd January. I am giving you the date on which Mr. Madhukar Gupta, the Union Home Secretary, started taking the initiatives. Notwithstanding the fact that on many cases, our own security forces guarding the borders and our own law enforcement agencies or intelligence agencies had seized huge cache of fake currencies in different places in India, and they had handed over the persons alleged to the local police, and nothing came out of that. I do not know whether they have escaped the long arm of law, which is very unfortunate because as long as this type of ham-handed approach is there to this problem, we continue to defy any deterrence for doing this crime. Altaf Kanani might have been convicted because of the stronger judicial or stronger trial processes or faster trial processes, but we have many Altaf Kananis are in our backyard. Ravi Dhiren Ghosh is one case which, I'm not bragging, let me be very clear. I had followed it up rigorously, and that is the reason the prosecution sanction came to my hand. I issued it, and later on, with cooperation from the Bharatiya Mudra Nigam in Mysore, it's an offshoot of, it's a subsidiary of RBI who gave the technical evidence in the case. We could get the conviction, but we need to be chasing much more cases. There are many. Some in Northeast also, there have been many cases, I recollect, but not much has really happened because Northeast only recently the governance model has changed. In 2007, 8, etc., huge caches of fake currencies and other contrabands used to come from different points of, because it has got a lot of porous borders all around. Whether it is Nepal is one place, Bangladesh, or whether it is China. And it used to be freely exchanged. Similarly, on the Uttarakhand side also, in PGurus, I personally, in 2008, I reported it also, that PGurus, it was available very freely. Not PGurus, the place is called Dharchula. Dharchula is just one bridge away from the Nepalese side of the border. The other side of Kali Nidhi is Nepal. Dharchula, it used to be very freely available, that for 42 rupees, you could get 100 rupee worth of notes. That is the way, that is the economics those days. I do not know what is the economics now. But do they still plague us? We do not know. But it is a matter of concern. It is a call out to all the states, and I'm sure the Union Home Secretary will follow up because he has got his predecessor, Mr. Madhukar Gupta, had done some wonderful job on that. And we do not know. And subsequently, yes, Mr. Rajiv Gauba had also done some work. Mr. Rajiv Maharishi had also done some work. I'm sure it is not a one-time action plan. It is not one-time action plan. It is something which has to be done sustained way, because Pakistan, if one tranche of fake currency had become garbage due to demonetization, they would not stop from printing the other one. Number two is we have to keep changing, recalibrating that security mark. Number four is, you all know, we have discussed about it, about the same series notes being printed in your own book. There should be, see, in that case, maybe the topmost persons in the finance ministry might have been involved. I'm sure now we need to be multiply careful about it, take adequate safeguards. That it becomes now, because it's all lot of artificial and other intelligence have come up, or not even artificial intelligence, even the normal decision support system, IT-based system can ensure that no duplicate note of the same serial can be printed. In addition to that, in the auction process, one of the second-hand machines of our banknote press landed in Pakistan. I do not know, but the auction process was as per the procedure, but the person behind the auction process, no due diligence was done. We are all aware of it. These are all certain things which need to be addressed even now, notwithstanding the takeoff from the demonetization, which is almost 7 years, 6.5 years. We need to revisit it, and that is very important. Thank you, Mr. Aryaan.
Thank you, Mr. Mani. Viewers, Mr. Mani has given you the dots. You can connect them. chairman of SBI from 2006 to 2011 in that time period, and he's now currently on the committee that is looking at Adani's properties, or that particular new committee. So you know the name. See, the thing is that, first of all, incompetents hang longer in India than anywhere else. Then, in many of these cases, the guilty person somehow manages to bribe his way through the system and escapes, unless they run up against honest officers such as Mr. Mani, who then get threatened. See, there is no easy way out. Honest people can't survive, and if they survive, they get threatened by body and limb. I mean, what is the incentive for someone to be even honest? What happened to a sense of pride and patriotism that if somebody is counterfeiting your note, you need to make sure that that doesn't happen. Essentially, it is diluting your currency by a lot, because once they are not caught, they'll get brazen. They'll keep printing more and more and more and more notes. And sir, I don't know if you know this, but De La Rue has had a branch office printing currency in Sri Lanka since 1986, sir.
Possible, because possible. Sri Lanka also used to send a lot of note, fake currency note, and even during the LTT crisis, as history is borne evidence to it, their ops in Tamil Nadu had a lot of presence of funding through fake currency, including in the refugee camps and all that. That is the reason it has to be absolutely carpet bombed. It is not that one state does it and another state does it. On certain things, there should be no ethnic appeasement, irrespective of whatever it is. Number two is the ethnic appeasement could be a linguistic ethnicity or a religious ethnicity, but that should be very, very, it's omnibussly not be adhered to, and political parties such as these who are appeasing to the ethnic groups should be debarred under the Representation of People's Act. ECI should go for immediate, or for that matter, the legislative department, which is administering the ECI and the RPA Act, should go for immediate amendment to the RPA Act. Not only that, they should also be made criminally liable. You criminalize the act of wherever in issues of national security, wherever the issue of national security arises, if anybody is doing an ethnic appeasement to let go the criminals who have no religion, no ethnic identity, then that party and the leader should also be made brought under 120B as a conspirator to the main offense. These type of legal changes are also equally required apart from the operational and other changes. Any party, now for example, if the Campus Front of India has been found doing something, of the Popular Front of India has been found doing, just banning the Popular Front of India means you are giving them an opportunity to come out with a new name, which I think 𝙤𝙧𝙤𝙪 or some other name which is already coming up. Like for example, in Kashmir, the TVRF or whatever is coming up. So not only that, arrest those fellows, bring them under, you make them 120B, you make them conspirator for the main crime itself. Apart from whatever crime he is liable for under the UAPAA 2019, the last it was amended, you need to be bringing in under the normal criminal, also 489E and all that, that also should be made a criminal conspirator. And just mere strengthening of the law is not adequate. Enforcement is the key, and that doesn't seem to be happening. And as long as the enforcement is lax, the deterrence is gone. 2, convictions have to happen, and conviction, and not just conviction, speedy conviction. So the entire thing needs to be revisited. It is not only about fake currency, it is about terrorism, it is about the integrity of the nation. It is about the integrity of the humanity, it is in the larger interest of the humanity as a whole that these type of things are arrested, brought to book, and And I'm not getting into the merits or demerits of NJAC, but certainly this government with its mandate could go for a constitutional amendment to bring these type of national security issues under Schedule 7 list to one union list, so that it is in the mandate of the government of India. A fake currency has to be dealt with a local police station where there are incidents of corruption and incidents of compromise is always possible, highly possible. And we have seen that. We have seen that you go and try to make a complaint that you have received a fake currency from a vendor. For example, during those days of peak in fake currency notes, petrol pump cashiers used to weep. They used to complain to me in one of my places where I was using a credit card. He used to say, even the policeman comes and gives me fake currency. Sir, what do I do? He forces me to take it. The local policemen were trading in fake currency. That was the extent to which it had gone in 2007. Local currency even took the name of the station house officer. He has given the order that it should be distributed among all the petrol pumps. And once it goes into the petrol pump, or once you land up with the fake currency, you are now doomed. And the police fellows will naturally not take a complaint against that. So he is a supplier. So these are all facts. Apart from being an administrator, I have experienced this in a petrol pump where somebody was fighting over a fake currency, which was given to me, which the petrol fellow was caught, and ultimately they used to say that, "Wo police wala batata, main kya karu?" This is a fact in India. So the police is not all holy, all Solomon. They are also, so that is the reason, bring the entire into the ambit of the union government jurisdiction. Specialized agencies like the NIA should have a specialized vertical on this, both for tracking, investigation and follow-up, prosecution. Now comes to the prosecution part, trial. When you go for a constitutional amendment, also bring in another clause that all these cases shall be done through a prosecution process in which the entire trial up to the appellate stage of Supreme Court shall be concluded within 3 years. Why none of the Indian jurists are not talking like this? In many countries, there is a provision that 18 months, 20 months, I am not talking about that stringent position. We know the position of the Indian judiciary. Yes, 3 years is a very reasonable period. These things, if they don't happen, you and I will continue to be speaking on this channel. We will have several conversations, and ultimately, whether it will impact or not is $1 million question. Thank you, Mr. Aryaan.
Thank you, sir. And let's take some questions now, please. We have some questions. Chaitanya Takli wants to know, sir, how was Aryaan Khan, son of SRK, let go?
I have no idea about the facts of the case, whether he was let go or whether it was the court which intervened, or we do not, whether there was no charges filed, etc. It's a matter for the investigation agency. I am not the investigating officer in the case.
Next question, please. Why is printing our own currency not part of Atma Nirbhar Bharat?
We are printing our own currencies. It is others who are printing more than what our capacity is. We are printing our own currency, and that is what is a genuine currency.
Chaitanya Takli again, how come Kohli went from woke to non-woke? Is it social media pressure?
This is a personal question on him. I cannot answer.
Yeah, we can't answer this. Okay. Sir, EC or any other panel are just waste. When was the last time they removed any MP or MLA? There is an MP named Simranjit Mann who demands Khalistan, and still there is no action.
EC does not have power to remove MPs. EC has only power to conduct election and then notify who has won the election. That's all. As per the present system of a Representation People's Act. And Simranjit Mann is a person democratically elected by his voters. After coming to Parliament, what stand he takes, whether it is national or anti-national, it is for the Parliament's Ethics Committee which will examine it without his oath of office as a member of parliament. And they will recommend whether he can continue. It is not for us, you and me, or whether it is not for any other agency. Parliament has an ethics committee. They have to consider his statements, call him for a oral evidence if needed, and after that, it is for them to recommend his continuation or not as an MP.
Yash Kumar wants to know, sir, how to differentiate between the real currency note and fake currency? What should we let, say, in 500
There
rupee
is
note?
See, every year the government comes out with special security seal. They also announce it. You can check in the RBI website. They will give you what are all the intelligible marks, security marks through which you can identify.
When will Modi bring back black money? Was black money just a jumla, or Modi has some black money in Swiss bank and other offshore assets? Amit
I do
Bali
not
wants to know.
know. I do not know, Mr. Amit Bali, whether anybody has or I do not know because that's an allegation. Bringing back black money is not an easy process. Wherever even overwhelming evidences are there, we are finding it even bring back our friends Nirav Modi or anybody from on a person from extradition. How can you think of bringing up black money back? And recently, let me tell you one thing. There was a news item in the 𝙤𝙧𝙤𝙬. I had also appeared in the debate. There is a non-NATO, non-EU European country which had been in whose embassy in Delhi there was a meeting held for change of governance and all this, and that non-NATO, non-EU country has a lot of black money of Indians stocked in their banks, and rather it's famous for them. And that non-NATO, non-US country was facilitating this. Is it an indication of the fact that the government is doing something? I do not know. I have no inside information on that.
Well, there are not many candidates who are in Europe who are non-NATO and non-EU, all that stuff. So you can make your own conclusions on that. Sir, thank you so much. It was a very wonderful
Thank you
talk,
very much.
and we will keep tracking this and we'll keep you
Sure.
posted. Namaskar.
Sure. Thanks. Thank you.